Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. And again, I don't want to freak anyone out. This is just my own opinion, but I think it's starting to happen. So I think people are getting more aware of how important good retention and a good aftercare program is. Venture capitalists and private equity is starting to get into this space. First, they got into the aligner space with SmileDirectClub. Now they're in the sleep space. Now they are in the retention space as well, which I predicted like 8 years ago this was going to happen. I was like, forget this aligner stuff. It's, where it's at is the retention and the aftercare. Less risk, less liability, and, lots of opportunity out there. Nobody has gone there yet. Anyways, so I've been saying this for ages, that one of the biggest issues that a lot of doctors have is they do a great job on their Clinchecks, they do a great job on their treatment plans, they do a great job on the treatment, they get to the end and then they lose it. They lose it on the retention and the aftercare. They either don't have a good plan, they don't have a good warranty, they don't have a good program, or they're trying to cheap out and they're making crappy products that don't hold teeth. So I can look at somebody's retainer, if they stick it on a table or even have it in their mouth, I can be like, it's not made right. Like this one looks just not well adapted. Does a Vivera look like this? No. If you look at a Vivera on a patient, it is like perfectly made. The trim, the science goes into everything. It is engaging all those little undercuts. It doesn't look all blobby like this. So you got to remember, if you're making in-house retainers, first of all, you have to remember that they're going to need way more than one Essix for the rest of their life. They're probably going to need 4 to 10 for the rest of their life. And anytime they get a new filling, anytime they lose a filling, they get new dental work of any sort, they're going to have to get their Essix remade. I'm not saying you have to offer this for free. You definitely shouldn't offer this for free, but you should at least have a workflow that they can get it, whether they're in town, out of town. I mean, this is a revenue opportunity for you for decades that can increase the value of your practice. Even if they move to Boston, they move to Hawaii or whatever, have a way that they can push a button and get a replacement retainer, assuming everything still fits. Have a virtual check-in process where they can show you the retainers fit, A lot of stuff we can do. They can do virtual check-ins online. There's so much stuff you can do, assuming you are storing these in the cloud. So if you don't understand cloud storage, Invisalign is not storing this indefinitely for you in the cloud. You have to come up with your own aftercare storage STL file program. And there are companies out there that will bank your images. It's literally a cloud STL storage bank. They take up a lot of space. So this isn't something you're just going to be able to put on your server necessarily. And it's also not HIPAA compliant. So you should really learn more into it. There are third-party companies you can do this with, but they're going to cost money. And this is something you can do yourself. It just doesn't make any sense to me. If someone else profits off and has all your patient database, and then you go sell your practice, do you think this is going to value? You're insane. I would absolutely never do that. Anyways, what it comes down to is too many of you guys are using vacuum formers and not Biostar mini stars like this. Biostar mini star, I have a lot of thermoforming videos. Listen, we don't have this in our office, so I can't make you guys are like, hey, can you show me this? No, because we don't do it. We send out. We don't have the space in the cities we're in. It's just too expensive, the overhead, to be able to do the lab work. So this is going to happen for some people. If you don't have the space or if you don't enjoy doing lab work, don't do it, But if you have the space and you have the people with the skills and they enjoy doing it, by all means, create an aftercare program. You can make white label aligners, whatever you want to do. But you can't be using a vacuum former. It's not the same. If you do, I mean, I've made good ones using a vacuum former, but it's very technique sensitive. You have to make those the horseshoe shapes as thin as possible. It even has to be thinner than this. Like see that base down there? That cannot be there. No base, just right down to the edge, as thin as possible. And you better, use the cryo spray, use the endodice. There's all kind of ways to make it really, really good. And then you have to trim it right with a heat knife. It's just technique sensitive, takes a long time. Much easier just to invest in one of these Biostar mini stars, Drufomats, all that kind of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff out there. See the videos I have in my YouTube channel. You can look up thermal forming. It should come up. I actually went to Bay Materials and it was a long time ago when I used to do more traveling to make content. And we did a whole demo process on how to do it and what the right way to do it. And we answered all these questions. So check it out. I think what's going to happen if you guys are making sloppy retainers or if you don't have an aftercare program where they can switch them out regularly, even if they have to pay for it, at least as long as the program is there. If they don't use the program, guess what? It's not on you if things relapse. As long as you gave them the program, you gave them the option, you have it in writing that they refused it, not a problem. That's their choice. That's not included. That's something additional. You can give them, like, for example, we include Vivera with all of our Invisalign cases. Why? Because, for the most part, my husband and his team, they would prefer to give the patients the best, even if it costs them a couple $100 more. But now the patients have 4 sets. So if they lose them, it's not on us. So they have it. They have everything they need, and they know if they get a filling or whatever, they got to come back and get a new one. That's it. It just makes it so much more simple. Why cheap out? It's $300. But again, you could make your own program. So if you're not going to include multiple sets of retainers at the end of your ortho treatment, well, you better explain why to the patient and better know that there's going to be additional fees. I mean, if you know it's something they need, it seems a little insane to me. To just have your price a little bit higher to begin with and give them what they need and get rid of all the issues that are going to come up later. But anyways, I just wanted to go over this. I don't want to freak you guys out, but it's going to start happening if it hasn't already. All right. Thanks so much.